All right, let's talk about mastering your money, not just for 2026, but for your entire life. We're going to skip all the confusing jargon and build a super clear, practical plan that you can actually use, no matter where you are on your financial journey. So let's dive in.
Look, let's just be real for a second. With inflation doing its thing and the cost of pretty much everything going up, it's no wonder that money feels tight. For a lot of us, just trying to make the numbers work every month is a huge source of stress. And you're not just imagining it, that's the economic reality we're all living in.
But what if you could swap that anxiety for a feeling of, actual control? What if you had a roadmap, something that shows you exactly where you are, where you're headed, and what's coming up around the bend? Well, that's exactly what we're going to lay out today. So, let's pull out that financial roadmap. It's all built around a really powerful idea called the wealth cycle. And the core concept is super simple. Our financial focus, our needs, and our strategies, they all change in a pretty predictable way as we move through life. Now, this roadmap isn't just something we made up. It's grounded in a solid economic theory called the life cycle hypothesis. And it basically says that deep down, we all want to keep our lifestyle pretty steady, even when our income is bouncing all over the place. The fancy term for this is consumption smoothing. And let me tell you, it is the absolute key to lowering your financial stress for good. This graph shows you exactly what I mean. See that blue curve? That's your income. It starts low when you're young, shoots up in your middle years, and then drops off in retirement. But now look at the red line. That's your spending. It can stay way more level and consistent. So how is that possible? Well, you borrow a bit when you're starting out, you save like crazy when your income peaks, and then you live off those savings later. It's a beautiful, simple strategy for stability. So the life cycle hypothesis gives us the big why, but the wealth cycle, that's our how. It takes that cool theory and turns it into a practical, step-by-step guide you can actually follow. And here is our map. The wealth cycle has 4 very distinct phases that line up with our lives: creation, accumulation, preservation, and finally, distribution. So let's walk through each one and see what it means for you. Our journey kicks off with stage 1, building your foundation. Think of this as your 20s. This is the time where every single financial habit you form is laying the groundwork for, well, everything that comes next. The goals here are simple, but you gotta do them. First, you need a budget. You just have to know where your money is going. Second, build that emergency fund, at least 3 to 6 months of your core living expenses. This is your safety net. And third, get a handle on your debt. If you have student loans or anything else, just make those payments consistently. You know, the key in this phase isn't about hitting some financial grand slam. It's about not striking out. As Sahil Bloom says, you win by avoiding unforced errors. Those dumb impulse buys or forgetting to pay a bill. Just being consistent, that's your superpower right now. Okay, foundation is set. Now we shift gears into stage 2, growing your wealth. This is your 30s and 40s. Your career is probably taking off, your income is climbing, and the focus changes from just being stable to actively building your net worth. In this stage, your whole relationship with debt changes. You want to stay away from bad debt, high interest loans for things that lose value the second you buy them, like a super fancy car. Instead, debt can actually become a strategic tool, good debt, that you use carefully to buy assets that grow in value, like a house. So, your action plan is pretty clear here. You're focused on growing in your career. As you start making more money, you step up your investments. You make sure you're diversified so you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, and you start getting smart about taxes so you can keep more of what you earn. This is your prime time for building wealth. And that brings us to a really important moment. The data is clear on this. For most people, the years between 45 and 54 are the absolute peak. Peak income, but also peak spending. You're at the top of the roller coaster, which means a huge shift in your strategy is right around the corner. And that peak brings us to stage 3, preserving your future. This is usually your 50s and beyond. The name of the game is no longer how much can I accumulate, it's how do I protect what I've worked so hard to build. This, right here, is the biggest mental shift of your entire financial life. You're officially moving from playing offense to playing defense. The focus isn't on growth anymore. It's all about preservation. So your to-do list changes. Now you're trying to max out those retirement contributions. The goal is to get rid of all outstanding debt before you retire. You need to double-check your insurance, especially for health and long-term care. And yeah, It's time to get serious about estate planning. Make sure your will and other documents are all set.
What this stage is really about is buying yourself peace of mind. It's about making sure the money you built up will be there for you through all of your retirement years and making it easy to pass on whatever you choose to the people or causes you care about.
So, we've gone through the whole journey, from starting out to locking things down. Let's tie it all together and talk about what it actually means to live a truly wealthy life.
This chart really sums up the whole playbook, doesn't it? In the foundation stage, your focus is to create, and you can afford to aim for higher growth. In the growth stage, you accumulate, and your approach to risk is more strategic. And in the preservation stage, you protect, shifting to a much more conservative mindset. It's such a clear, logical path. But after all the strategy, all the planning, all the numbers, we have to remember the most important thing of all. Money is just a tool. It's the means to an end. It's not the end itself.
And that really gets to the heart of it. Henry David Thoreau said, "Wealth is the ability to fully experience life." So this entire roadmap, this whole plan, it leads to one final question. What experiences are you going to use your wealth to create?